Tonight on Canyons News, the COC's Adjunct Teachers Union has started a strike after negotiations with the college stalled.
And it's the month of lights, trees, and cheer. We have a look at many of the ways Santa Clarita is celebrating the holidays.
And reporter Daniel Rios has the Santa Clarita Sports Report later tonight recognizing the record of one COC team. Canyons News starts now.
With news from across the Santa Clarita Valley, this is Canyons News.
Hello everyone and welcome to Canyons News. I'm Mark Monroy.
And I'm Natalie Dodds, and here's the latest from the Canyons newsroom. You may have seen the picketing outside campus. Adjuncts are on strike here at COC, and the impasse, which has now reached day 3, appears to have no end in sight. Kyle Kawamoto explains why both sides remain divided.
As cars roll out from the fog, you may hear this. That beep represents the residents supporting the adjunct professors at College of the Canyons, fighting for a fair pay wage, and their signs speak louder than words. It all started just a year ago, coming out of the pandemic.
For the 2021 contracts, we were the only employees, adjuncts, who got not only did not get a raise, but we actually got a pay cut, and it was not even a pay cut that we agreed to. We agreed to a pay raise, but the administration conveniently reinterpreted the contract to mean a pay cut, and about half the adjuncts lost money as a result, while the full-time faculty got a raise that added up to about $200,000, and we got nothing and a cut on top of that.
For about a year into negotiations, College of the Canyons and the adjuncts came to an impasse when a third party inputted a new ruling into factor.
Those negotiations went on for over a year, and an agreement was not reached. There was a third party fact-finding panel that made a ruling, and the fact-finding panel recommended that the part-time faculty not receive a salary increase for the 2021 academic year.
With nothing to give in 2020, even with the salaries being increased in 2021, for these professors, this still wasn't enough.
So back in November, the board approved moving forward with that recommendation, and then they also provided a 5.26% salary increase for the 21-22 academic year. And we're looking forward to starting negotiations on 22-23, but we haven't heard from the union yet about that. We've reached out to them, but they have not responded yet.
For these professors, the fight isn't over. These signs will continue to be their voice until the settlement has been reached.
I think they're pushing full-time to do a lot of the work, and the full-time aren't that happy about that either, because they have to go into our Canvas shells, they have to understand what we're teaching and what we're doing, so I think it's going to be a challenge. And hopefully it's a big enough challenge that it gets them to see our value.
Promised to come back with better figures, and then every time they do it, it's 0, 0, 0, and then it's just they're good at delay tactics. They drag things out, and then until thinking they're just going to win by attrition, wear us out, and we're just going to give up. And so that's pretty much why we're not willing to give up. We want a better deal, but they don't understand how much we want it. So this is finally our time to show it.
Reporting from outside the pack, I'm Kyle Kawamoto.
A body was discovered earlier today behind an elementary school here in Santa Clarita. Deputies responded to the report of a man found at the scene shortly after it was discovered before 7 a.m. The individual was found with a rifle nearby on a basketball court at North Bridge Park, which is located right next to Charles Helmer Elementary. Investigators told the media they are looking into the possibility that it was a suicide.
Another person was found dead earlier today from what seems to be a fentanyl overdose. County Sheriff spokesperson Natalie Arriaga says county firefighters pronounced the individual dead upon arrival. First responders found the patient at the 28,000 block of Newbird Drive after receiving the call around 9:40 a.m. No other information was available as narcotics detectives are still investigating the death.
This morning's overdose wasn't Santa Clarita's only fentanyl-related incident in the last 24 hours. Yesterday afternoon, Emergency units responded to 2 separate calls of possible fentanyl overdoses at Bouquet Canyon Park. The incident happened around 4:20 p.m. Responders found 2 patients affected by possible overdoses. Narcan was administered before transporting both to a local hospital. The second call came in a little over an hour later, where 3 more were found suffering from an apparent overdose. All 3 were then transported, and 5 were described as young adults by sheriff investigators.
The Sheriff's Department announced several arrests have been made over the last 36 hours in connection to the fentanyl crisis here in Santa Clarita. Investigations into the larger national crisis are still ongoing and span many national investigative bodies. There's a lot happening in Santa Clarita, and there's more going on nationwide.
Yes, Asia Haskins has more on the Georgia runoff election between Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. Asia?
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Natalie. The final seat for the U.S. Senate has been decided. Incumbent Democrat Raphael Warnock defeated challenger and former NFL pro Herschel Walker in Georgia's runoff election yesterday. Warnock's win over Walker secures the Senate for the Democrats with a small 51-seat majority. Meta, the parent company of Facebook, has threatened to remove news content from its platform after reports of new legislation. The Journalism Competition and Preservation Act, if passed, would allow news companies to negotiate with social media companies on the terms of distribution of their content. Andy Stone, a spokesperson for Meta, says that the legislation would unfairly disregard any value that the company provides to news outlets through subscriptions and traffic. The bill was included into the Defense Authorization Act that is passed annually by Congress. The 2022 Michelin Guide was released on Monday, and 17 California restaurants earned their first star. The Addison in San Diego earned the title of a 3-star restaurant, the sole restaurant in California to do so. There are now 34 restaurants in California that have achieved this prestigious award. And that's what's trending. I'm Asia Haskin. For more stories in and around the Santa Clarita Valley, you can check us out at canyonsnews.com. Mark, Natalie, back to you.
Tonight, we are remembering one of COC's assistant women's basketball coaches, Harlem Perlman, who passed away last month. Perlman has coached with lead coach Greg Herrick and led the Cougars to a successful 16 Western State conferences.
Assistant coach Perlman has brought many moments to the Lady Cougars program. He has recruited and coached 3 California Community College Hall of Fame athletes. With the resume of his hard work, he earned enshrinement in the Hall of Fame, becoming the first assistant coach to be selected by the organization's committee. In 2019, Perlman retired from coaching, but continued to live in Santa Clarita. He's survived by his wife, Kathy. Perlman will be memorialized by many, whose lives he's touched at CSC, leaving a legacy in his name to be remembered. It's the season for those annual workplace parties, but the one at the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station may look a bit different than what we're used to. Here's Lindsay Tolles with how our local sheriff station takes the time to have some fun.
We often see police officers in situations like these. But it's not often we get to see those very same deputies in a situation like this.
Whoa! Look at that time! Come on, Candy!
It's the first annual Bearcat Pull competition at the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station, and competitive spirits are high.
This is the first event of its kind here at the Santa Clarita Sheriff Station, where teams of 5 will be attempting to pull the vehicle right behind me.
That truck is the station's mobile command post, weighing in at just about 30,000 pounds.
The command post, it's something we use for when we have a big event, usually like a big fire or some sort of critical incident. That command post gets taken out to the location, and that's where we kind of run all the operations out of it.
But it's not being taken out to a critical incident today. Today, it's being pulled in a friendly competition among colleagues to see which team can pull the Bearcat 30 yards the fastest.
It's just, we had a lot of fun with it. It was great seeing the teams. The teams got to go twice if they wanted to. And people were jumping in last minute because that's how fun it looked.
And fun is just what these officers need, according to Captain Justin Diaz.
In our line of work, it's difficult work. It's, we work 24/7 because of staffing shortages. The guys and gals are working up to 120 hours of overtime a month. In trying to, lighten the mood, increase morale. We do stuff like this quite a bit.
The Sheriff Station partnered with Lone Depot and the city to make the event happen, enjoying a warm breakfast afterwards and prizes from a raffle.
It was great just to see the guys, LA Sheriff's Department, actually have a good time and just to, again, be thankful for them and their services.
The event was considered a success by the station with the hopes to make it an annual competition. For Canyons News, I'm Lindsay Tolles.
The holiday seasons have just begun, and while the seasons are meant to bring feelings of joy and cheer, for some, it's a time of distress. Stuart Carpel has more about why people may experience seasonal depression.
I guess the holidays is really just a time, just to sort of reflect on the past year and sort of just try to, it's going to sound super cliche, but just to enjoy life.
For many people, the holidays are the happiest time of the year, but for others, it's a very different story.
Yeah, I was in the military for 23 years, and out of those 23 years, I think maybe I spent 3 of those years with a family. So this Thanksgiving, being thankful. And I try to do that. It's hard, but I try to do that. Think of my kids that I have and what I have for them. So it's tough.
Sadly, many of us have experienced severe conflict and anxiety around the holiday season. Therefore, this time of year may be emotionally draining.
Thanksgiving, it's time for thanking everyone around you. Christmas is a time to just be merry, as they say. So I would say just, maybe take a step back from whatever else is going on in your life.
Loneliness can heighten around this time of year, but on the contrary, being around too many people can cause an immense amount of stress. So I spoke with therapist Brad Caro about the causes and effects of this paradox.
It can highlight an individual's feeling of loneliness during this time of year if they don't have a place to go for the holidays. In addition to that, colder weather, cloudier skies, these are all things that can contribute to a person's mental health.
And according to Brad, the best way to cope with these feelings is
to get into therapy, because it never hurts to have someone to talk to, and it can only benefit you.
For Canyons News, I'm Stuart Carpel.
Coming up next on Canyons News, the holidays are here, and we have a look at the many ways Santa Clarita is celebrating.
And we hear the tale of one student doing his best to change his life for the better. Stay tuned.
In a home fire, can your family safely escape in 2 minutes?
I heard my oldest son holler for mommy, and all I could see was smoke. The boys, we never really worked with them, I guess, on telling them what to do if there's a fire. We lost our child. We lost everything.
Make sure you can safely escape a fire. Practice your 2-minute drill. Test your smoke alarms monthly. Make your plan today.
The future is yours, so let College of the Canyons help you get ready, reset, and go for it. Get ready for transfer, the workforce, or take your skills to the next level. Reset your career and get back to work quickly. Go to college for $46 per unit, 0 textbook cost class options, and apply for your share of financial aid. With convenient class times, flexible on-campus or online options, and free tutoring, the future is yours at College of the Canyons. Visit canyons.edu/schedule.
A grocery that provides for those who don't hit the mark for your regular food banks. Michelle Underwood tells us about a co-founder and a ragtag group of volunteers that provide supplies for the city's residents.
On misty cool mornings, Santa Clarita residents come and park at this warehouse, where young volunteers drop off fresh groceries at their cars. Bradley Gross tells us about the beginnings of the grocery.
Volunteered at a food bank for about a year, and I realized that there's stigmas attached to food banks. It's like, oh, it's just for people that are homeless or whatever, but then there was another group of people that weren't homeless people, but just having challenges in just day-to-day living.
The fact that there are no economic requirements to receive food is what makes the Santa Clarita grocery stand out.
There's a group of people that we're servicing that cannot be serviced by food banks that require all this paperwork and all this information from you.
And by helping the community, they also build a community of their own.
We're not having fun that we're doing it wrong. So that's one of our real flagship banners is we have to be having fun serving our community.
About this place and how it feels to be here is it's like a family, really. It's like a second family. Everyone here is so kind. Everyone here is so nice. You know, we love making fun of each other, cracking jokes. It's great. I love the environment. I always get the urge to just stay in bed because it's early in the morning, but you know, when I finally decided to come here, and then I meet the people we're serving, and I see the look on, and I see just like the smile on the faces, and it really adds like a lot of fulfillment to me, you know.
From the veteran community to the Hispanic community, all walks of life come together here.
As many veterans here as we can. I belong to a group, a nonprofit that's all fire, military, and police, and it's kind of a self-help, a camaraderie kind of thing. So that's kind of my nature is to try to help vets in particular.
Get to places like here, so but it's nice to see the ones that they do come, you know, and you get to talk to them, and makes you feel good that you're helping them, and especially the ones that have their families and their kids and everything. It just makes you feel really good. So
the Santa Clarita Grocery is a hub of caring people with helping hands, and for the time being, it seems that it will keep that way. For Canyons News, I'm Michelle Underwood.
Some people want nothing more than a home-cooked dinner for the holidays. Reporter Andres Sosa goes into detail on how COC students are making it their end-of-the-year goal to serve up a winter feast.
Just to persevere, they're doing a wonderful job, and we wish them well as they move on to their futures.
Tuesday night, the IQ opened a dinner reservation for anyone that wanted to come and try out the food from the culinary arts program. And what many people thought was going to be a bad performance actually turned out to be a big surprise. And it wasn't any ordinary food that they made. They made foods that will catch you by surprise.
Oh, I had them done. It was good. And I had the prawns, and they were delicious.
At the steak, there was the prawns, excellent. They're just spicy and very good. And then I had the creme brulee.
Even though the food was good and the service was great, people didn't come out there just to enjoy the food. They came in for one important thing: to support the students that made it all happen.
Great servers, and just the ambiance. It's such a nice location, so we really enjoyed our evening. That's really what makes coming here special, right? The meal was delicious, but the truth is that to support the students who are in the program is really important for us. Yes, and they were delightful.
For Canyons News, I'm Andres Sosa.
It's time to put on your gloves and boots because the holidays are snowing in. Haley Wilson shows us more on the cheerful times here in Santa Clarita.
The city of Santa Clarita hosted their Cookies with Santa event for the festive holidays. This allowed the community to come together enjoying various activities such as playing with real snow and cookie decorating. It came to be an event that put everyone in the right mood with feelings of joy and family all around.
The purpose of Cookies with Santa is to bring the community together during the holiday season to celebrate community and to have all the children enjoy an activity with their families.
Playing with Santa has become a popular activity among kids during the winter season. The holiday-themed crafts gave everyone an opportunity to show their artistic side while being able to be creative. Everyone was told to bring their own camera, which helped them take pictures with Santa while keeping memories of the cookies they made.
So activities will range from cookie decorating, there's games and craft activities, there's a tote that they can decorate, there's picture opportunities for them as well, and we have snow that children can play in later on.
Many holiday activities became ways to have fun and enjoy the long-awaited breaks from school life and work. Many of the festive crafts and music put smiles on the community's heart, so don't forget to make yours at home. You can always look forward to a family day here in Santa Clarita. For Canyons News, I'm Haley Wilson.
The community of Santa Clarita, along with the LA Kings, got together this past Friday for their first annual tree lighting ceremony. Leo Hernandez has more on this new festive tradition.
3, 2, 1. Fun and more fun, Santa Clarita Valley hosted its annual tree lighting ceremony at the Cube Ice and Entertainment Center this past Friday. The event included live music, a special performance from our local ice skaters, and plenty of fun for the whole family.
So I love this event. This is our second
second annual tree lighting ceremony, and it's just something that we can see the community really come out and enjoy. As you can see, we have hundreds of families and their kids out here, and it's such a great way to start the holiday season with just another tree lighting ceremony within the city. My favorite part is the holiday skate show teaser. We have so many talented ice athletes that call the Cube their home. So to see them out on the ice and give us a little bit of teaser for the actual holiday skate show is my absolute favorite part. The more challenging, but it's the best part of it, is actually working with the LA Kings as a partner with the Cube Ice and Entertainment Center. We're always excited to bring them to our events. So having the Kings and Nick Nixon and the whole crew come out with Bailey, it was so cool that they came from all the way from LA to join us tonight. So I think it really makes a difference. All these ice athletes really look up to the LA Kings, so to have them here in our hometown is my favorite part too.
After the tree lighting ceremony, people were able to skate around the tree along with the LA Kings. The Cube will have its official performance of The Grinch on December 10th, and the tree will remain up until the end of the month. But till then, be sure to go down and take some pictures for some nice holiday memories.
It's super fun. My girls are loving it, and they skate here all the time, and they just wanted to come for the Christmas show, and it's fun.
We hope you enjoyed the program. Happy holidays. Go Kings. Stay healthy, everybody.
And as always, I'm Leonardo Hernandez for Canyons News.
What a bright time it is as one of the brightest streets in town lights up for the holidays. The Wonderland is back and ready to delight.
Lights are on and shining in our very own Christmas town. Wakefield's Winter Wonderland is bringing the holiday spirit, inviting all to come enjoy walking or driving by the community lights. Children and families of Santa Clarita come to enhance the Christmas spirit night after night here in Wonderland.
My favorite part of Christmas is
the lights here.
the lights and spending time with your family. Yeah.
It's really nice just coming out and seeing the whole community just come together. And on the weekends, Christmas carolers are here. It's just, honestly, it's beautiful. It really is.
Some even dedicating their decorating to giving back. Toy donations are welcomed for the Santa Clarita Valley Boys and Girls Club, so all feel loved this holiday season. Family and friends gather to get the holiday cheer Wakefield's Winter Wonderland brings them.
Tonight we came here for some holiday spirit and just there you go. We all love Christmas, so we just came here for the night.
With lots to see from lights, ornaments, and festive cheer, always remember Santa stops here.
Merry Christmas! Before it gets too late, drop your letters to Santa off at the Wakefield Winter Wonderland.
This is Natalie Dodds with Canyons News.
With winter settling in, temperatures are dropping and people aren't the only ones affected. Here's Evan Avora with how one person is making a difference for some little strays.
Hi, sweet girl.
With winter on its way and temperatures dropping, many families are staying close for the holidays. However, many lost animals every day will be feeling the cold temperatures as well. Luckily, with a little help from Jeanette, she hopes to find these animals a home for the holidays.
So I foster kittens mainly. I did have a puppy recently, and they come to me when they can't care for themselves or eat on their own, so they need bottles and they need assistance using the restroom, and so I get them. I get up every 2 hours with them and feed them, and then when they are old enough, they get adopted by their forever homes and have a happy life. And then in 2 hours, we start all over again.
Animals can have hard days too, and with a little love and care, they can have a family too.
I have fostered now a total of 25 because it takes a lot of dedication and patience and time. You have to have all of those, and so it's not for everybody, but I think more people need to do it because it's really special.
However, not every animal here can find a home.
Then they go back to the shelter, and then the shelter finds their forever home.
Luckily, Jeanette herself has adopted one special needs animal who was unlucky.
Her name is Grace, and so because she has only one eye, I decided she needed a pirate name, and so she's named after Grace Amellie, who was a pirate. So Grace, when I took the kittens in for a medical checkup, I saw this cutest little puppy
I was like, what is up with that puppy? It's so cute. Medical tech said, oh, that one just had to have its eye removed. We're looking for a foster. And I said, oh, are you serious? Because if you are, I'd be very interested in fostering her.
It's animals like these that will make for a great Christmas present, but not just for you, but for them too. For Cairns News, I'm Evan Avora.
Furry friends are the perfect gift this season. Gianna Echeverria explores the local shelter and how they care for your future pets.
Animal care centers are busy during the holidays, but not in the best way.
I know the holidays, people want puppies for Christmas, but really puppies are a lot of work, and people don't realize how much work is involved with a puppy. Typically, after the holiday season, people are tired of the puppies and they turn them into the care center. So rather than going through that whole cycle, come get an adolescent dog that's already been through a family. They know what good behavior and bad behavior is, and they're pretty much ready to go.
The Castaic Animal Shelter makes finding your new companion easy and accessible.
We typically transfer animals from other locations here to give our community a wide selection of animals, just so they don't have to make the commute to the other care centers. We also take in stray animals from the community and make them available for adoption after giving an appropriate time for the owners to come to claim them.
Castaic Care Center is constantly working towards advancing their facility and the care that they provide.
Back in the days, and I'm going to date myself here, we didn't have the resources, we didn't have the staffing, or the medical staffing to help animals such as Katniss. Katniss is a prime example. She came in with a injury. It was an old injury. She had no use of the leg, and it was getting infected. So our veterinary team went in and did the amputation, and she's now, as you can see, a viable, adoptable animal, full of energy and full of life.
Everyone at the shelter works hard towards one common goal.
My dream is for this to become the ultimate adoption center. We really, that's where we focus our goals, is rehoming unwanted pets into wanting homes.
For Canyons News, I'm Gianna Echeverria.
The Halfway House Cafe has been a staple in Santa Clarita since 1931. Though the cafe may look its age, it's as spirited as ever. Asia Haskins takes us on a trip to this historic stop.
Driving down Sierra Highway, it's small enough that you might just miss it. Customers from all over come to dine in at a place that is as historic as it looks. Managing a place with this much history isn't always easy.
My stepdad and mom both put every bit of themselves into this place while they were running it, so I did feel like there's very big shoes to fill.
Many TV shows and films have used the location in their productions for its aesthetic, and it looks the part.
About a month ago I had CSI here overnight. 2 weeks ago I had, I think it was an AT&T commercial here overnight as well. So yeah, we did quite a bit of filming.
Although it may seem like just another location for filming, for Jacob, the cafe is home.
I've actually grew up in the restaurant. I fought working here for the longest time.
5 years has allowed Jacob to settle into his role managing the cafe. Familiar faces are what made the job easier.
Most people that walk in our door I know by name. Like the 4 people that just walked in our door right now, I know them by name. I have most of their phone numbers. I know where they live.
Faces that were nowhere to be found during the pandemic, when the cafe had to shut down.
We were shut down for 2 separate times, about 3 months each time. So that made it rough.
Bye, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Take care. You too.
Pamela Sheehy, who has been a waitress for 6 years, was here during the pandemic.
It was awful. We put a tent up outside. It was one morning I was serving, and it literally started hailing. And then the hail was coming in the side of the tents. It was all around the people's coffee.
Despite the challenges that the pandemic brought, the family environment is what got her through it.
See what I mean? It's so nice. Like, that's why I like to work here, because of my bosses, you know?
Although the pandemic slowed things down, the Halfway House Cafe is looking to make their mark.
2031, I really want to try to get us listed as a historical landmark. I think that would be a really pivotal point.
For Canyons News, I'm Asia Haskin.
When we return from the break, we hear the story of one student taking his health into his own hands.
And we hear from reporter Daniel Rios on the last sports report of the year. Stay tuned.
In a home fire, can your family safely escape in 2 minutes?
I heard my oldest son holler for mommy, and all I could see was smoke. The boys, we never really worked with them, I guess, on telling them what to do if there's a fire. We lost our child. We lost everything.
Make sure you can safely escape a fire. Practice your 2-minute drill. Test your smoke alarms monthly. Make your plan today.
Motivating yourself can be hard, but do you know what's even harder? Staying consistent. Canyon's news reporter Darius Burko introduces us to one teenager whose consistency has changed his life forever.
Meet Isaiah. From the looks of it, he is an everyday average teen. But would you believe that a year ago, he looked like this?
Handsome, huh? I mean, I still got it, you know.
Growing up, health was always an issue for Isaiah. But through his example, he's showing us that change is possible for anyone.
19, you know, I'm out of high school, just working right now. I'm about to go to school for an EMT. And back in high school, I was about 300 pounds. And to this day, I'm like 230.
Approaching weight loss is no easy task. For most people, it's a complete lifestyle change. And Isaiah is no exception.
I didn't want to have a heart attack by the age of like 45 and then just, you know, die. Like that would kind of suck. So I had to get my shit right.
With his motivation set, Isaiah took his first steps towards reaching his goals.
First, lost a lot of that weight. Like I'd say the first like 80 pounds, I lost most of it, not through going through the gym, but through diet and just like walking really. Because, you know, I mean, I was really big. So it was, you know, hard for me to go to the gym like that.
Struggles and all, Isaiah has weathered the storm and now considers the gym his second home.
You can always find an excuse not to do it, not to do the workouts. But you can do these from home, you know, it's your health, you gotta take it serious. And that really hit me, you know, when I was 300 pounds. So just do what you can when you can, but make a routine of it. I started going to the gym earlier this year, pretty consistently. I say about like 3 or 4 times a week, and that's been fun. It's been a journey. Honestly, it's good to see the progress. It really motivates me and stuff to keep it going. You know, plus I got good friends backing me up. You know, driving me to making sure I stay on it. So that's always a good help. I mean, it's not perfect, but everyone starts somewhere, right? You know what I'm saying? And I just knew that I had to change, and that just consisted of just consistency, staying disciplined, and just hard. You're gonna have to want it more than other people. And if it was easy, not everyone, everyone would be doing it.
As the start of the new year approaches, Isaiah is looking to enter 2023 with even more motivation and drive than before. For Canyon's News, I'm Darius Burko.
Natalie, just such a truly inspirational story. Well, while the fall semester is winding down, winter sports are winding up.
And Daniel Rios has more with action.
Thanks, Mark and Natalie. Hard work does pay off with motivation and dedication. For a school out in the hills in Castaic, the students and staff hit the milestone of a lifetime for the school and themselves. Kyle Kawamoto has more with how the band and color guard of Castaic High School ended the year with an award of a lifetime.
For the first time in the Coyote program history of Castaic High School, the band and color guard placed first in Division 1A after only just 2 years of competing. It all started from the first day of introduction.
It just goes in from putting a lot of work at the beginning, since from band camp in July to right now. It just feels like surreal. Like, honestly, I never would have thought we would have, like, our first year made it to championships and placing 6th. From this year, making it to championships and placing 1st, just our second year as a high school. It just feels incredible, really.
But the feeling wasn't the best when it came down to the wire.
I remember they were counting down, like they start from 12th and then go to 1st. And they're like, 9th place is 70. And like as a band, we'd only broken 74. And I was like, oh, we're going to get like 7th place.
But the numbers kept dropping.
And then at the very end, it was us and another school. And I was just so nervous. And then they called 2nd place and I was in shock. So it was amazing knowing that everything we had worked for, especially as this is only our 2nd year, it was amazing to know all our hard work had paid off.
Even for Eugene Kim, this was the first time winning state as a head director and is thankful for the experiences to help lead his students to the state competition and win the title.
I was the assistant director to my friend and colleague Cameron Yassaman. His band, they won 1st place at championships for 2 or 3 years in a row. So I got to take the experience I learned with him, and I credit a lot of anything good that I do. I learned a lot from him.
Even though that there are going to be seniors leaving, the returners will step into their place and guide the newcomers to the road on how to repeat as champions.
It's going to save a lot of time and progress to have that group. I think there's a mental block for a lot of students and groups that they can't ever be like the 1st place groups. They think, oh, that's this school, they're number 1. And for this group to achieve that group, I think going into next year, a lot of the returners are going to come back thinking, we can do this again.
Reporting from Castaic High School, I'm Kyle Kawamoto.
The women's volleyball season here at College of the Canyons has come to a close. Despite losing the first round of the Southern California Regional Playoffs, the team had a dominating season and was ranked number 6 in the state since December 5th. COC women's volleyball has had such a very successful season with the return of coach Lisa Hooper, to one player earning South Libero of the Year. The team completed a 12-0 run and went undefeated in conference, then playing into the postseason for a 9th consecutive season. Sophomore Allie Gradell was named the Western State Conference South Division Player of the Year, and her teammate Sabina Sven was named Libero of the Year, which was the first time in the program's history. Coaches Lisa Hooper and Clay Timmons shared Coach of the Year honors. In total, the Cougars had 8 players earn all WSC awards, including Gradell and Sven. The Lady Cougars ended their 22 season with a record of 20-9. The Wildcats of West Ranch High played against the Valencia Vikings to continue their winning streak. Last week, they dominated Saugus on their own court, and last night, the Wildcats did the same. Coming into the game, the Wildcats seemed to have the upper hand in the first quarter with this nice steal from Andrew Meadow and then picked up by Isaiah Fields for this roaring slam dunk. It didn't take too long after that for Meadow to have a slam dunk of his own with the help of Fields from a Valencia turnover. Near the end of the second quarter, the Vikings were keeping up with the Wildcats. Valencia was one step ahead with this pass from Bryce Bedgood to Jacob Michael Zavala for the buzzer beater. The score was 34-32 at the half. Valencia had a 6-point lead near the end of the third quarter, and a steal from Wildcats' James Evans passes it to Fields for the alley-oop slam. The Wildcats were not done just yet. With another turnover from the Vikings, Fields passes it to Meadow for the vicious slam to put the Wildcats ahead of Valencia, putting them at 61-52. The Wildcats would go on and defeat the Vikings on their home court with the final score of 72-64. The COC men's basketball team were coming from a 2-game losing streak. For the game, the tables have turned. The Cougars fought hard in the first half and continued the motivation into the second half to beat San Diego Mesa in the Cougar cage. In the beginning of the first half, both teams were neck and neck. Not until Canyon's Quincy Arms makes this easy three-pointer with no one around. He evened the score at 11-10. Not too far after that, Olympians Kwyon Young sunk this three-pointer, which led San Diego to merely tying the game at the half, with the score at 44-43, Canyons leading. About 11 minutes into the half, Canyons' Kevin Shagoin finds Jimmy Galgano for this three-pointer in the corner to put the score at 73-58. The Olympians still putting up a fight with the steal from Jaden Pat He drives down the court to make this layup to make the score an 8-point difference with 2.5 minutes remaining. The Cougars would go on to win the ball game with the final score of 90-82 to break their losing streak. After getting a new head coach this past offseason, the COC women's basketball team has some exciting players returning this winter. I checked out how one player is helping the team get back to the playoffs.
I stand here because I know you're going to make it, bro.
With the COC's women's basketball season just getting started, Lulu Saloom is gearing up for her final season on the team as she prepares for division play.
I just want to make it memorable. I mean, obviously I want to win, but it doesn't mean anything when you're not enjoying yourself. We have a really great team, and we all really love to be around each other. Good shot.
The forward had a dominant season the year prior. She was named the Western State Conference Southern Division Player of the Year, and as a freshman, averaged 16.2 points and 14.7 rebounds.
My coaches, as strict as they were, they had a lot of confidence in me. And they believed in my capabilities of, being a good scorer, being a good rebounder, being a good defender, whatever it was. They had confidence in me, and I needed that. Double.
It wasn't a surprise to first-year head coach John Wismath as to why Lulu is such a dominant player on the court.
No doubt, she has the best work ethic than anybody on the team. Anyone that will say that. Sometimes it's too much. I've had to tell her a couple times, hey, step back. She's putting on too much stress on her body. And she has stepped off a little bit.
Despite losing a talented player for the team, Coach Wiz is excited to watch his player grow.
And I'll put her at the point guard a few times. I mean, I know she's got some size, but if she's going to play at that next level, she's got to be able to handle the basketball. So if I can get her some work here right now to get her stronger and a little more confident, that's going to help her that much more.
Around, atta girl, pass it up. That's fine too. Atta girl, nice, Jazz.
She never had the intention of playing basketball, but some friends at a younger age convinced her to start.
All my best friends were playing basketball, and they told me to join. And I've been always super athletic, but I never had like a set sport. So I was just kind of bouncing around, and they told me to join, and from there I just got really good at it.
Staying motivated is hard in this day of age. For Lulu, her dad helps her see the positives in her hard work.
He never lacks confidence in me, no matter how good or bad I do. He's always the first person to tell me something good, and I appreciate that. Because, it's easier to point out the bad things. Not a lot of people will give you credit for what you do. 4!
For Canyons News, I'm Daniel Rios. That's all I have for sports. Now back to Mark and Natalie.
Thanks, Daniel. Music can be played in a variety of ways. Whether you stream it or you pop a disc in, the enjoyment that comes from it is something we can all relate to. George Camacho shows us how one local store is sharing their love of music with the community.
Since its inception, music has had the power to bring people together. And here in Santa Clarita, one record store is trying to do just that.
I want to be known as a shop around the corner. The families come in here and just spend the whole time here talking about music, looking at the artwork, looking at different types of records, the 45s, the 78s, the cassette tapes. All of it's here, and that's the reason why I opened the store.
Grayskull was created out of friendship, family, and a love for not only music, but art as a whole.
Kiss Destroyer, this was actually my first concert I ever went to, was Kiss on this tour back in 1976. But the artwork on it, I thought was amazing.
While some just have an appreciation for artwork, Eric has an extensive history with the arts that led him here today.
I've been an artist for, since I was a kid. But I worked at Disney Studios in the animation department there for 16 years. After I was done there, I started doing my own artwork, Toxic Tunes. So I'd sketch something up, showed them the next weekend, and that became their logo.
With the amount of care they put into their store, it's no wonder music lovers alike make an effort to come.
It's important to support small businesses and the businesses in your community. You can buy records online, but it's not the same. It's not the same feel.
Being one of only 2 record stores in the Santa Clarita Valley, Grayskull leads with their love of music to make a positive impact in their community.
Music is my life. Music is everything to me. I love spreading the love of music. I love music. I love the physical aspect of it. I want them to feel comfortable coming in here. Everyone's welcome. You could bring your pets, you could bring your cat, you could bring anyone here to the store.
They are located at the corner of Soledad Canyon Road and Langslide Avenue. They are open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Reporting for Canyons News, I'm George Camacho.
Members of the Santa Clarita community gathered at COC's campus looking to work up a pre-Thanksgiving appetite. Jeff Lozick shows us how a little morning trot can bring a feel-good start to the holidays.
That's what I'm talking about!
With a shot of the gun, runners were off to the races as the College of the Canyons Turkey Trot was underway. Done. The 14th annual event, which is held on Thanksgiving morning, offers residents of the Santa Clarita Valley a chance to work up an appetite while supporting a good cause.
We first started it years back. My mom was diagnosed with a brain tumor, but because of her condition, we said, hey, this is a good time to do a turkey trot and also bring recognition and awareness to brain cancer research.
That's a great finish!
The grueling 5K course winded through the college campus and ended at Cougar Stadium. Each participant was awarded a finishing medal, and an award plaque was given to the overall male and female finishers as well.
From St. Louis, so I was visiting some friends here in California for Thanksgiving, looking for some 5K, 10K races, 3 miles, and found it here.
It was really cool to race out in front, and I was running with the girl the whole race, and it was just really cool to pull through at the end.
On average, a 5K run will burn between 300 and 400 calories. So once finished with the race, the athletes were now focused on the Thanksgiving feast.
I definitely go for the mashed potatoes and gravy. It's definitely a go-to. Or, I don't know, just a turkey, of course. It's Thanksgiving.
Turkey and mashed potatoes, probably.
I know I shouldn't say this, but I'm a dessert first. Everybody says you have to have the meal and then the dessert. To me, it's all going in the same place. So I start with the dessert, then I work my way over to the turkey and stuffing and potatoes.
For Canyons News, I'm Jeff Lozick.
That does it for this edition of Canyons News. I'm Mark Monroy. Remember, you can catch us on the web at canyonsnews.com.
And I'm Natalie Dodds. You can also send us news tips and story ideas to our Twitter handle, canyonsnews_COC, and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Have a good night and happy holidays.